Hey guys, welcome to the Mother Figures podcast. I'm Caitlin Darkangelo, founder and co-owner of Figure, Midwestern wife, and girl mom. I'm a dual certified pregnancy and postpartum trainer, earned my degree in exercise science from the University of Michigan, and have been coaching for over a decade. This podcast dives into all things pregnancy and postpartum fitness, especially in how to navigate strength and intensity training in these seasons. Whether you're in it yourself, trying to get pregnant, or coaching this population, you are in the right place. I'm excited to share personal experiences, client stories, guest interviews, and evidence-based strategies to give you the guidance, insights, and clarity needed to navigate these seasons with confidence. And with that, let's get rolling. Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Mother Figures podcast. Today, I'm going to be talking from a personal experience that just happened yesterday/today about how to navigate what weight to choose. And I'm going to use a specific scenario with a specific movement, but this really applies to any movement that you're doing. And this is pregnancy specifically. I'll probably do a whole nother one on postpartum, choosing which weight, but a lot of the same things apply. But that's like one of the hardest things to navigate in pregnancy, especially when you are an avid lifter, have a good history in it, or even if you've never lifted before and you're kind of getting into it, like what is the appropriate weight to lift? And how do you know if you're going too heavy? How do you know if you can push harder? There's a lot of variance and nuance to this. And so I'm kind of going to give you my framework that I think through for specific movements for myself and as well as clients. And there's not a one size fits all to this, but going to just kind of go through the thought process more so behind what to choose weight-wise during pregnancy for specific lifts. The first thing to note here is there is no max weight that you can't lift over. For instance, it's still commonly told to pregnant moms from providers, OBs, midwives, whoever, that you can't lift over 25 pounds. This is extremely outdated advice, probably 30 years old at this point. But sometimes it just takes a lot of time for research to reach all of the heads of the world. And so if you do hear this, this is completely outdated. The other caveat to this is there is no percentage that you cannot lift over or percentage ranges when it comes to like 1 rep max percentages. For instance, if your 1 rep max of a back squat is, let's say, 200 pounds, there is no, like, you can't lift over 70% of your 1 rep max, or during the second trimester, you should be lifting between 50 and 60% of your 1 rep max. There's no calculated science to any of this, which is why I want to give you guys frameworks and thought processes, not rules and regulations and blanket statements to go on, so you can really personalize this to your own pregnancy experience and symptoms and things like that. So like I mentioned, I'm going to use this in terms of my lunges, or a specific movement that I am experiencing this kind of weight shift right now. I'm currently 25 weeks pregnant as we speak, or as I record this podcast, which is kind of the main time frame. I would say between weeks like 18 to right now, like 25, 26 is really when you're going to start seeing a lot of the anatomical or body changes that would kind of get your body in a different, how do I word this, like function, or like you'll start to feel the need to modify more during this time frame. So I really wanted to use like in real life examples as I go through my own pregnancy to kind of highlight different thought processes around strength training during this time. So currently 25 weeks pregnant. Lunges are a very common concern for pregnant moms when it comes to pelvic pains, and just it gets really challenging really quick. Lunges do, as opposed to like dual stance movements like a deadlift or a squat per se. There's a lot more dynamicness to a lunge. There's the single leg impact. There's the pelvic angle impact of lunges. So there's just a lot of things going on with lunges in general. So I wanted to use this as my example. So for instance, yesterday in my workout, I'm doing my own Figure pregnancy programming right now. And yesterday was a more dominant lower body day. It's all my workouts are pretty full body because I don't like to hammer one muscle group during pregnancy because it can leave you really sore the next day in that one specific area, which can cause specific pains. So I like to keep things more full body in general. But for this workout specifically, there's a little bit more pelvic instability training, like pelvic balance, as well as just lower body movements in general. And so that's one framework I want you guys to think about, is the context of which the movement is happening, or what other movements are being combined with or are in the same workout as the movement that could potentially be causing symptoms, or that you're trying to figure out what weight to choose. So for me, since there was a lot more lower body movements included in the same workout when I was doing the lunges, I knew that my legs were already going to be a little bit more tired and fatigued, not just during the workout, but it's also I did a lot of movements that would have made my glutes and hamstrings, quads, other muscle groups sore. And when my muscles are sore, that's when a lot of pelvic pains will start to happen, because thought process wise, or like in simple terms, like when your muscles kind of fatigue out, your joints have to, stabilize a bit better on their own. They don't have the full support of the muscles. And so I know that when lower body movements are combined together, especially when we're including single leg movements like a lunge, I just tend to be more sore afterwards, as I'm sure many of you have felt that same thing. So first is context. What else are you pairing that movement with? And that, first off, highlighted to me that, I'll probably have to go down in weight in my lunges a little bit, because I know that my legs are already going to be fatigued, versus in a workout where maybe lunges are the only lower body movement that I'm doing. Maybe I'll be able to go a little bit heavier in that specific workout because of the context or the movements that lunge is being paired with. Second, so in this one, it was supersets. So I had lunges with like a clamshell banded movement. So it was 2 separate single leg or pelvic angle style movements. And so that also was a sign to me that within that specific superset, I was using a lot of adductor, abductor, pelvic angle, range of motion kind of stuff, just in different angles. And that, again, is going to create more fatigue in those specific muscle groups. Now, when it comes to lunges, choosing which weight to use for this as well, I started with a heavier set. So normally in my history, like pre-pregnancy or like not pregnant state, I would generally choose like 30 to 35 pound dumbbells for a set of 10 to 12 dumbbell lunges. Now, when I chose a 25s, I was just holding them and I was like, oh boy, this is going to be heavy. So I started at 20s and I did them, and it felt like the perfect stimulus, or it felt like what 30 to 35 pound weights felt like for me prior to pregnancy. And so I knew I was kind of in that good range of weight. When I did the movement, I was able to lunge forward. I was able to get my full range of motion. So both knees were able to go to 90 degrees. And I was able to push back into that initial position without compensating my form as well. So I was able to keep good control all the way down. I was able to keep my range of motion, and I was able to keep my form perfect with that 20-pound set. And it felt like the same stimulus as my previous fitness history has called it to be, in the 30 to 35 pound range. Now, at that like 8 to 10 rep, I did sets of 12 for this specific workout. That 8 to 10 reps started to get this, like that dicey feeling that you want to feel, because obviously we're strength training to gain strength. So I want to feel a little bit of that. But me knowing my fitness history and how my body responds, I knew that was the perfect stimulus, that I should not go up in weight from there, because anything else was going to make me way too sore. And so that's the other framework you want to think of it through, is what is your form during the movement? Are you able to keep good form? Are you able to keep good control of the movement? Is your pelvis able to stay stable, or is your pelvic girdle kind of dipping in either direction? And then range of motion. During pregnancy, we want to keep as full range of motion as possible. I would rather have you go down in weight in order to keep your full range of motion, because we have to keep that body fluid in terms of just pregnancy related pains, in terms of our strength, and in terms of labor. We really want our body to be able to move in its full range of motion and its full capacity to really have favorable labor outcomes. And then there's, the range of motion that I just discussed. So form, control, range of motion during the specific movement, that will give you context into whether the weight is too heavy, too light, or just about right. The next one is kind of obvious. If you start experiencing pain during the movement, that would obviously be a sign that you need to either decrease weight, modify the movement specifically, or, adjust, or maybe it's a removal of that movement specifically as well, depending on how severe the pain is. But if, for instance, during these lunges, I did not personally feel any pain during it, which when you don't feel pain, it makes it more difficult to navigate because you're like, oh, I'm not experiencing pain. I can keep going. But these next few points, I'll kind of get into how to navigate when you don't have pain. But when you do experience pain for lunges, for example, I would either drop the weight and see if the pain goes away. I would go to a shorter range of motion, but go slower. So I know I just talked about trying to get the full range of motion, but when it comes to single leg strength, that is super important for labor prep and for postpartum related recovery. So I'd try to keep the single leg stuff in as best as we can. Or you can find assistance. So getting like a PVC pipe on the side, holding it so you have a little bit more control or something to, the rest of your body can balance around. Lunging down and coming up, giving you a little bit more support, maybe that takes the pain away. And some of the pain that we're looking for, especially with single leg movements like a lunge, is that SPD pain, symphysis pubis dysfunction, where that front of the pelvis, or like where the two pelvic bones connect, that creates a really severe, sometimes dull, sometimes achy, pinching sensation. And you'll know it when you feel it. I experienced this horribly in my first pregnancy. So this pregnancy, I'm ultra aware of that specific pain. But we want to navigate away from that, obviously. And also things like just general pelvic girdle pain. So in the hips, in the low back. Then there's also pelvic pressure that would be signs of something like a prolapse. So we're looking for pain during the movement as well. So kind of going backwards where we came from. First, context. What other movements are we pairing this with? Second, form, control, and range of motion during the movement. And now third, are we experiencing pain during the movement? And those three things will help us figure out what weight to use. Fourth is the volume. So maybe all of that is good. Maybe, from a context perspective, it's only single leg movement. From a form perspective, we're able to do all of it correctly with control, with good range of motion. There's no pain. How much volume are you doing? Because the pregnant body, you are already experiencing fatigue throughout the day just by carrying a baby, carrying extra weight on your body. So although it might be a normal range of like reps or sets or total capacity, pregnancy adds on another layer. And so we want to be seeing how much volume of that movement are we doing. For instance, for me, it was 3 sets of 12 yesterday. But if it were, a 50 rep chipper, I would have gone way down in weight because I know that volume is going to hit me harder than not. So seeing it just obviously higher reps, lower weight, lower sets and reps, higher weight, kind of a general workout principle, but we definitely want to be paying attention to how much volume we're doing so we know what weight to grab. And then lastly, and this is the hardest one, this one takes the most time to figure out. It could take years. This is why I always tell moms to work out prior to pregnancy, learn your body prior to pregnancy, because when you are pregnant, now you'll know what to expect from your body and what feels right, what feels off. It's knowing how your body feels after a workout. So for me, I know historically lunges will rock my glutes every time, pretty much no matter what. And so it's me knowing that piece of information about myself, I can then better choose what weight I am using during the workout, knowing how my body is going to react after. Because, for instance, and this is what prompted me to make this podcast today, is I woke up, I felt fine, and as the day has been going on, my glutes are so sore that my symphysis pubis dysfunction, or my SPD feeling, the front of that pelvic pinching, has been way worse today than on a normal day. And I know it is because I went probably even heavier than I should have during those lunges, or some other piece of that workout was just too much in combination together. Again, during the workout, I felt totally fine. This is, the easier part to navigate is, okay, in real time, is my form good? Is my control good? Is my range of motion good? Am I experiencing pain? Those are all easy things to navigate in real time. It's that after the fact piece that we need to start connecting back to the workout. So that's why I like moms to stay really aware of what they're doing. That's why I love my app program, because you can actually put in all your weights. You have a record of exactly what you did the previous day with the range or the rep ranges, your weights, everything. And so you can go back, like for me, for instance, today, I'm experiencing a little bit more achiness, a little bit more pinching than I would be normally comfortable with. Now I can go back into my workout yesterday and pinpoint, and I'm pretty sure it was the lunges because those are always hard for me. Now I know that 20 pound set was probably too much for me. And so now next time at lunges come up, I know that 20 was my max at 25 weeks. I am now going to be decreasing my weight the next time I go back into the workout. So a lot of times it's like after the fact acknowledgement or awareness. It sucks during the day. Like today is like a little bit more achy. I'm sitting down a lot more than a normal day just to kind of let my body relax. I took a total rest day as well. But then it gives you that information and that guidance for the next time you go into your workout. So sometimes it is, you just got to kind of learn it the hard way in a sense of what was appropriate, and retroactively looking back, seeing what the weight was that you used and knowing that that is now your peak and we should be going and tapering down from there. And sometimes it's not a bad thing. We have to learn from our own mistakes, in a sense, not really a mistake, but our own learning experiences. I felt great during. I didn't feel any pinching during. I could keep my full range, my full form. Everything felt good. And I still was staying aware of the context and the volume. So I even went down based on what I thought would happen to my body after. And even with reducing my weight by 10, 15 pounds and staying aware of that context, I still am experiencing a little bit more pain than I would be happy with today. So just taking inventory, taking stock of what you did and knowing what weight you used and using that as information going into your workout the next time you have that movement or whatever it is that you're trying to navigate from a weight perspective. So I hope that kind of made sense from again, this was like my own personal experience with a specific movement, but that framework, and I'll list them out again so you can kind of use them for yourself. One is the context. What other movements are with it? Number two, how is your form? How is your control with the movement? How is your range of motion with that specific weight? If you can't control, if you can't keep good form, if you can't keep full range of motion, I would drop down within the workout itself. Number three, are you experiencing pain during the movement? That would be an indication to go down in weight or fix other factors or modify other things. Number four, what is the volume of that movement? So higher reps generally mean lower weight, and lower reps mean higher weight. So knowing your capacity. And then fifth, taking inventory the day after, the few hours after, and seeing how your body feels from that specific weight that you chose and making the appropriate adjustments from there on out. So if today, for instance, I felt no extra pain, no extra pinching, I was relatively sore, but like a good sore without any pain related to it, I would probably keep doing 20-pound dumbbell lunges moving forward. But knowing how I'm feeling today, I know I will probably go down to 12.5 to 15s the next time. And maybe at that point, that's the perfect weight. Maybe at that point, I still get this same kind of soreness, and then I'll go down from there. Maybe I go down to body weight. It doesn't have to be a black or white. Like I am experiencing pain from my weighted lunges, so now I'm going to remove lunges. Like that is not how we do things here either. We can take these progressive deloading steps before we have to remove anything specific. And that's why I like giving you guys frameworks to go based on to know how to navigate your own exercise experiences, especially when it comes to choosing a specific weight during movement. So I hope that helps. I will be doing many more of these in different scenarios, maybe with a client, maybe with different movements, but in general, hoping that helped kind of bring awareness on how to navigate specific weight choices during exercise. And with that, I will see you guys in the next episode. Thanks for tuning in to the Mother Figures podcast. If these episodes help or resonate with you in any way, it would be so helpful to the show if you could leave a review so we can get this into more moms' hands. And if you're looking for even more guidance and direction when it comes to pregnancy and postpartum fitness, I got you covered. My Mother Figures app subscription includes my Figure Pregnancy and Figure Postpartum workout programs, in addition to our general fitness programs. You'll get the day-by-day workouts you need to help you feel strong, pain-free, and labor-ready during pregnancy, and also the recovery, strength, and progressions you'll need to get back to the activities you love, full of strength and without symptoms after baby arrives. If you're local to the Brighton, Michigan area, I also host daily women's functional fitness classes, a 6-week postpartum return to fitness course, and pregnancy and postpartum consultation sessions. For those who are providers, coaches, or practitioners in the space, I hold a live Mother Figures certification course that equips you with the knowledge, tools, and confidence to train and work with this population. For information on all of these services and programs, make sure to check out fitisgettingreal.com/moms or head to the show notes for the direct link. I'm so thankful that you tuned in today's episode, and I will catch you next time.